So hello everyone. So hope you all are safe and taking extra precautions nowadays. So in my previous lecture, I have talked about NumPy library, where we have seen for what specific purpose we will use NumPy library. What are the different type of operations we can perform? Now in this particular lecture, I am going to discuss about one more very important library that is known as Pandas library. So we will try to understand the theoretical concept when we will use pandas in Python and what are the some basic operations which we people can do in pandas. Because in the coming lectures, we will keep on using these two libraries, that is the NumPy and pandas. So it's very important to understand the concept of these two libraries in at initial level. So let's start. So first we try to know about pandas. If you will see in the comment section, pandas library used for data manipulation and analysis. So data manipulation, you know very well. Data manipulation means we want to modify the data, we want to delete the data. So whenever we want to do some modification in the data or manipulation in the data, that we people will use pandas library. And the second important thing is analysis also. So uh, since it's a part of analytics, so we need to analyze the different type of data, and while analyzing, this particular library is most useful library. Second, it this Panda library is also help in integration with data visualization library. We are having a data visualization library also, like Matplot is there. So whenever we want to plot our data, at that particular moment also, this library is very helpful to perform integration between the data and visualization libraries. Third important thing, if it will be very useful in time series capability. So it's a very important analysis. So whenever the we are having a data of many months or many years, and we want to predict what may be the future, what will be the impact of that particular data in the coming years. So whenever such type of analysis is required, so that is very uh, useful in that particular case. Next, the fourth important thing, it has capability, or you can say the pandas library has capability to grab data of different types, whether we talk about the Excel file, CSV comma separated file, Java script object notation file, HTML tables, Yahoo data, Google data. The HTML tables, when many times we people will open a specific website, and in that particular website you will see the data will be given in a tabular form. Now suppose I want to utilize that particular table which is available in the form of HTML for analysis in Python. So with the help of a pandas library, we can easily connect that particular data into Python. Similarly, there are a lot of data related to Google and Yahoo. So in the coming lectures, we will learn definitely how to connect the HTML tables, Yahoo and Google data. That is also a very important, because you know that until we people are not able to connect different type of data, we cannot perform analysis. So this is the very basic step, and pandas is very useful in that. Now the second important thing, if we will talk, that in pandas organize data into two type of objects. So the first type of object is called the series. The data will be organized in the form of series, and the second is the data will be organized in the form of a data frame. Now what is the difference between these two organization? Since whenever we talk about the series, it will be a one dimensional array object, means the data will be available in a single list. Whenever the data will be available in a single list, we will say it's a series format. And whenever we people are having a two-dimensional table object, whenever we people are having the data in the form of a tables, or you can say it's a combination of various lists, then we will say that we are using the data frame format. So we will see in practical part that how to create the series object in pandas and how to create the data frame object in pandas. In short, as I have shared the data frame, each column represent one series. So as I have shared, the data frame will be comprises of various columns. So column is the first column of the table, second column of the table, third column of the table. So every column will represent a one series or one list. Okay, so that is the important thing which we need to understand. Second, next important thing, if how to install pandas. So as I have already say, it's very simple to, if you want to install pandas, we will simply write, don't use hash symbol, means we need to remove that particular part. So we will use exclamation mark pip install pandas. So this is the uh, normal way to install any particular libraries in Python. So so in a simple way we can install this all. So once the panda will be installed, now the second thing is, if we want to use that library into my program, we will import it. So that's why you can see that import pandas, and I have given nickname of pandas to PD, which is a very popular name. Now if we want to create the first type of object that I have discussed, that is the series type of object, so the command will be pd.series, and you can say I have given a single list element or a one dimensional array. And ds will display or print that particular output. Let's quickly first remove, clear all the output so that there will be no confusion. Just a minute. Great. So now, so pd dot series, you have it will create a series object. Just execute that particular part. Okay, so here you will see. So as I have discussed that in data frame, each list will be represented in the form of a column. So that's why you have seen this is the list. So and that particular data has been presented in the form of a column. Okay, so that is the important thing. And so, and here since the data type is integer, so that's why it's showing the data type is integer, and this is the default indexing of the data which will be created in the form of a series object. Now quickly let's see some statistics. If we want to calculate the mean of that particular data, then it's very simple, ds.mean. You can execute it and you can see I have received the dean. The mean value is 12. Similarly, if I want to calculate the standard deviation, again the formula is simple, ds.std. So std is the function, so it will calculate the standard deviation, which is 1 here. Now let's talk about the second form of object, that is the data frame. So data frame, if I want to create, so we will use pd.data_frame, and here you will see I have created two lists. So it means when these two lists will be converted into data frame, so two column will be created. First column will contain data of first list, and the second column will take the data of second list. So let's quickly execute it and check. Yeah, that's great. So here you can see that 11, 12, 13. Okay, so this is the first row data and this is the second row data. So this is so it's very simple that whatever be the number of list, that list will be created in a in the form of a data frame. So suppose okay, many, so here if you will see the column name, by default the column name given to data frame was 0, 1 and 2, and the row name given is 0 and 1. So suppose I want to give some specific column name to the data frame. So if we want to give some specific column name to data frame, so what we will do, everything will remain same. The one more element will be added in the data frame, that is columns equal to whatever column name you want to give. So suppose I want to give the first column name, I want to give A, second I want to give B, and the third I want to give C. And now if you will execute that particular command, yeah, great. So here you will see 0 column has been given name A, 1 column has been given name B, and third column has been given a column C. So it's always good to give some specific name to the column to remember the data of each and every column. Similarly, many times we want to give some specific row name to the data frame. By default, you can say the row name is 0 and 1. And if I want to give some specific row name, so in the list only, here you people, the first element you need to give row name, whatever row name you want to give. So suppose I want to give the first row name is R1 and second row I want to give row 2, R2, sorry. So that's why I have given R1 in single inverted comma R2, and here columns, so A, B, C will remain as it is, only here I will say I want the column name as a row label. I want the column name as a row label. Now if you will, after giving a specific row and a specific column name to the data frame, now if you will try to see the data of the data frame, now you will see the row label are R1, R2 and A, B, C are the column name. Okay, so by default you will see the index is 0, 1 by default index. So here you will see it looks little bit of odd, because since I have already given the row label R1 and R2, so actually we don't want that 0 and 1. So how to remove that 0 and 1? So it's very simple. So what we people will do, we will use a function set underscore index. So this is the indexing of the row. Here we people will write dot set underscore index row label in place true. So what is the meaning of that particular statement? Means I want row label true, means I want row label as index of df data frame. Okay, now if you will execute it, oh, that's why now you can see the wonderful result. Now you can see now the row label is R1, R2 and the column name is ABC. So these are the some basic manipulation, some basic presentation of the data, because whenever we want to during analytics, we need to play with a huge data set. So until the data set will not be in a proper format, it will be very difficult for us to remember the data, what is the column name of that particular specific date. So it's very important to give some specific name so that it will be easy during analytics. Next part is many times while we people are doing different type of calculations or operations or analysis, we want to access element of a specific column. Okay, so I want to check any specific column, that if there is a any null value is there or not. So in this way, many times we need to check the value of each and every column, that if there is any outlier is there, if there is any null value is there. So it's very simple. So what we will do, df inside the bracket the column name. So column name, if you will see, b is the column name, is the name of the second column name. So it means I want to display data of b column name. If you will execute it, yeah, great. So you can say the second column name data is 12 and 22. So that's why you will see it will display data of 12 and 22. Okay, so that's great. Similarly, if I want to display data of some specific row, suppose I have seen that in any particular column there is some null value. Now I want to give some specific value to that particular null value. So it means we need to access any particular data in any particular data frame. So to access a specific row of a data frame, so df.lock that we keep on using, that means the location. So means I want to display data of location which will be available at row R2. So it means that means row 2 data. So row 2 data, if you will see in our data, is 21, 22 and 23. If you will execute that particular part, so here you will see 21, 22 and 23. Okay. So in this way, this particular data will be displayed. Similarly, if I want to display data of some specific row using row number, okay. So since we people have already given a specific name to our row, that is the R1 and R2, but by default it will be stored, as I have shared earlier, by 0th row and first row. So if I will want to give index number, so index location 0. 0 means the first row. So it will display the element of the first row, that is the 0th row, and that is the 11, 12, 13. You can check also, that is you can check, that is 11, 12 and 13. So you can access data of row by giving a specific row name also, or you can access data of any specific row by using index position also. So both ways work properly. Similarly, if I want to access data of multiple columns, I want to check whether there is a null value in both the columns simultaneously. So we will write b comma a. So whatever the number of columns you want to check, just using the comma symbol, you can check it properly. So now you can see it will display the data of both the columns. Similarly, if we want to display a specific cell, the cell, you know very well, the cell is a intersection of rows and columns. So whenever if I want to access the data of any particular cell, then we need to give row number and column number. So suppose I want to display data which will be available at second row and bth column, second row and bth column. If you will check our data, the second row and bth column data is 22. So if you will execute that particular command, here you will see, so it's 22. So it's very simple. The only things which we need to give the specific row and column here. Similarly, if I want to display the range of the data, so whenever we need to give the range of data, we will use colon symbol. Here it's giving, I want to display data of from row 1 to row 2. If there are many rows, then we can we can say R1 to R10. So that particular range of data will be displayed. You can check quickly. Here you will see it has been displayed the data of row 1 and row 2. Similarly, if I want to give a combination of row and column both in the form of a range, then we will use colon symbol. So before comma, the range of row will be there, and after comma, the range of column will be there. So if you will execute that particular part, so you can say it has displayed the data from row 1 to row 2 and from column A to column B. So these are the very simple steps. So hope you people have learned how to what is the purpose of using pandas. So it will be used to organize the data, and the data can be organized in two forms, that is in the form of a series, which is a one dimensional array, or it can be created in the form of a second type of object, that is the data frame, which is a multi-dimensional. We can perform different calculations also, that is the mean, standard deviation, sum, max, min. So all such type of functions we can easily apply on the data of data frame. Similarly, we can display the data of any specific column, any specific row, any range of any specific rows, or the range of any specific column. We can also get the data of any specific cell by using ilog function, I will indicate the index location, that is the zeroth row or first row, and lock will indicate the location, and that will be the based on whatever name we people have given to the row. So as again and again I am repeating, keep practicing. Do like my channel, subscribe it, and I keep on making such type of video and try to clarify your concept as much as possible. Thank you so much. All the best. Bye bye.